you for joining us for another episode of Business PNG for the year 2015. The National Development Bank is on a mission to ensure that Focus Area 2 of Vision 2050, wealth creation, is realized through their Stret Pasin business programs. The bank recently launched yet another version of these programs, the Stret Pasin Store scheme. Business PNG reporter Adelaide Curry with more.
The National Development Bank Investment, a subsidiary to the National Development Bank, recently launched another incubation program called the Stret Pasin Store scheme that will help grow the small and medium enterprises. A business incubator program's main goal is to help create and grow young businesses by providing them with necessary support and financial and technical services. There are approximately 900 business incubators nationwide. According to the National Business Incubation Association, business incubation programs have a success rate of 90% with only 10% failure rate.
We've recently restructured the National Development Bank, so we now have NDB, the parent company, we have a micro bank, and we have investments. The primary function of investments is a business incubator. So what we do is we provide business incubation programs to assist the growth of small to medium enterprises.
Present at the launch, the Prime Minister and the newly legalized chairman for the SME Council of Papua New Guinea, Peter O'Neill, said that the government is giving money to banks like NDB and BSP so they can loan to people in the SME sectors and into business incubator programs. Apart from the Stret Pasin Store scheme, NDB Investments also have other schemes set up to help the SME sector grow.
The retail shops are just one part of the business incubation program, but we have other things. We have an incubation program for the youth. We're working on one for women that we hope to introduce in the next couple of months. We're working on an incubation program where we provide a large incubator space for small businesses to operate in. We're also working on a program to provide mobile vending businesses to our people. So that comes under a business incubation program. And also one of the things that we do is we provide incubation funding. Now, a lot of people who want access to loans have to meet their equity and security requirements before they can get a loan. In this special incubation funding that we provide, it's flexible, so it really depends on the level of cash flow that the proposed business will make. If they have strong cash flow, then we can relook at some of their equity or security requirements. So we're flexible, and that's one of the main things that we're doing. And that's one of the many things, that we're doing under the business incubation range of programs that we're running.
The Youth Entrepreneur Scheme, launched last year, had up to 150 youths involved over a 6-month period, educating them on how to run their own business successfully.
So one of the business incubation programs that we have is called the Young Enterprise Scheme. So under this Young Enterprise Scheme, we deal with young people from the ages of 18 through to 30. These are unemployed youths, maybe school leavers who don't have any other opportunities. So under that scheme, the Young Enterprise Scheme, we started off with 140. They're all working on the program now. The thing is, with the Young Enterprise Scheme, you have to qualify to pass each of the different stages to qualify for funding at the end of the program. So we started off with 150 that went in for training. They've set up their small businesses now, and we currently have just over 80 young people on the program now. And these 80 young people, they have to run their small businesses successfully for about 6 months. At the end of that, we'll provide them funding, which will be 10 times their initial investment.
After the 6 months, the bank gives out a loan. If the loan is repaid with interest and the small business is successful, the bank increases the loan by 10%, the first investment. This helps a small business to grow into a medium and hopefully to a full-scale business. Mr. Yaninen explained that with the amount of youths that leave school after grade 12 increasing each year, due to the lack of space in a higher tertiary institution to cater for all grade 12 leavers, was one of the main reasons why NDB Investments decided to create the Youth Entrepreneur Scheme.
We're going to have an unemployment crisis when you have 24,000 people sitting for exams and only 4,000 going to uni. That's about 80% of our year 12 school leavers who don't have any opportunities whatsoever. What do you do with them? Without relevant training, they won't be able to get a job. They'll go back on the streets or go back to the villages. So that's the reason why we had to introduce the Young Enterprise Scheme first and foremost to deal with that problem. So we only have about 100 who signed off sign up on the original program. This is a pilot that we're doing just in NCD. Based on the success of this program, we'll roll it out nationwide.
To give youths that are on the street an opportunity to earn a living and learn the vital skills to help them in the business world. NDB Investments will also be launching a business incubator to help women. This was announced by Mr. Yaninen at the 2015 Women Forum earlier this month.
At the Women's Summit, women complained about applying for loans but being turned away because they didn't have equity or they didn't have security. And that was where I explained about the Young Enterprise program that we're running, where young people don't need any equity or security. They just have to go through the training, set up a small business themselves, and depending on how well they run it, then we give them a loan. So based on that model, we've had women ask us to provide the same thing for the women. So we're actually going to take that Young Enterprise Scheme model and just duplicate it and make it specifically for women. So we're working on the framework now. We look forward to introducing this program in about May or June this year. So when that program is up and running, women won't need to have equity or security. All they do is sign up for the program, get the training, set up the small business, and then we'll give them funding if they successfully operate their small business. Yeah.
With the government striving to achieve all their goals in Vision 2050, how does the NDB Investment Business Incubator Program fit in with Vision 2050?
In order to adequately grow SMEs, to meet that 2050 target of having 70% participation, we need to provide not only funding, but business incubation activities as well. So when you put the two hand in hand, concessional loans plus business incubation programs that include training, mentoring, coaching, and the support all around that, together with a loan, that's how you achieve success. Traditional business incubation programs have found to have a 90% success rate, only a 10% failure rate, compared to other businesses that operate without any form of incubation. That's about an 80-90% failure rate. So where we fit into Vision 2050 is to help the government achieve its objective by the year 2050 of having 70% participation of local PNG businesses in the economy, and that is by providing them on one side loans and then signing them up on our business incubation program to give them that support to make sure that their business is successful.
Still to come, a second, more in-depth look at the country's art industry. The arts have existed for centuries in Papua New Guinea, originating in the very fabrics of our culture. From paintings and carvings to sculpting and designing, Papua New Guineans have a rich history that has always coexisted with this fascinating and expressive subject. Unfortunately, the arts remain undeveloped and haven't as yet entirely progressed into an industry. Most of the country's talented artists operate informally.
The world art industry is a booming industry with the sales of famous canvas painting ranging in the millions. From visual arts to theatre arts, the amount of money generated from arts alone on a world scale is staggering. Unfortunately, this is not seen here in Papua New Guinea, with arts not recognized as a profitable market to go into. Even so, the work of some artists here in PNG are recognized on an international level for their unique way of showing their cultural heritage through the different forms of art. Moresby Arts Theatre here in Waigani holds a craft market every second Saturday of the month to allow artists to sell their products to the public.
Every market we have in the order of 60 to 70 sellers coming along, and we have probably 300 to 400 buyers coming along. But, the sellers pay a stallholder fee of 10 kina each, which they pay at the gate. We have a variety of sellers who come along, so we have visual artists, we have carvers, we have people who have billis, shields, bows and arrows. We've got bilum makers. We have people who sell plants. We have jewellery makers and jewellery sellers as well. So we've got a wide range of people. We've got people who make dolls who come along. So there's something for young and old to get when they come here. And it's not just for expats to enjoy, it's for Papua New Guineans to come along and enjoy as well, to see what their fellow craftsmen, what their fellow artisans are manufacturing.
Johannes Gelek is one of the many artists that sells his works at the Arts and Craft Market. Mr. Gelek tells Business PNG that the selling of art to Papua New Guineans is impossible because Papua New Guineans don't appreciate art. The only opportunity to sell is to expatriates.
One something me like animal amount mele enem maybe lo Australia or lo another country I think about right because lo arts lo Papua New Guinea am well them down on man appreciate art imi Papua New Guinea you meet in appreciate art also so mi pla sample artists mi pla struggle to survive want arts so to live alone with art I'm not up mi pla can make him sample work then make him art one time yes.
Unfortunately for the art industry, most talented artists are in the informal sector and not registered with the Investment Promotion Authority. This means that most artists don't pay taxes and thus do not contribute to the nation's economy. Business PNG last year interviewed Jeffrey Figure, an internationally recognized PNG artist, who told Business PNG that the art industry could contribute to PNG's economy, but unfortunately most artists are not registered and in the informal sector.
There's less rigid formality in something like the creative arts industry. But there's no, I mean, it could easily turn into an industry that pays tax and supports the government if it was looked after, yes. If there were facilities, if there were people interested in turning it into business, you know, and registering things, paying taxes. So, I mean, I think we just need those people to turn entrepreneurs, to turn art into something that is an industry. I mean, selling artworks. So most of the transactions are all informal, and that works well for the artists. But there are one or two people out there who have started clicking on. They register a design company or business that sells graphic design and also art and fine art, and they're here and there in pockets.
Registered modern art graffiti company 675 Rosal is one out of a small number of registered companies using art to earn an income.
There's so much negativity associated with spray paint and vandalism. When you do something, like most times when someone paints up something with a paint, like with the paints and a paintbrush, everyone's like, oh, this is art, this is really nice. But when you try to do that with spray paint, they may look at it first and say, oh, it's really nice. And they say, well, how did you do it? And so we did it with spray paint. They go, oh, you know. You get a lot of mixed reactions from that.
675 Rosal based their art on a newly acceptable street art, graffiti. Business PNG had a chat with 675 about graffiti and how PNG is coming along to accept the modern day art, and also how the market is for a registered artist.
There are artists that are making a living out of this full time. As for what we're doing with graffiti art, I would say the market is a bit unstable at the moment. That's why, with the help of Celian and Island Breeze, the governor, through the Keep Port Moresby Colourful campaign, we're showcasing our art through there to sort of change mindsets and all that, to create that environment and create that market where graffiti art will be more accepted, and for other graffiti artists, if they are any in PNG, to make a living out of that as well. But right now, like I said, it's a bit unstable. We need to keep working at it to really get a solid foundation for everyone else to come and go up.
Fortunately for 675, they have been fortunate to sign on with the Keep Port Moresby Clean campaign, contracted to Island Breeze and sponsored by the governor of NCD, Powers Pakop.
For the government to help, I'd really like to see them maybe put more funds into the art industry here, because it's happening a lot overseas. I was watching a previous interview on EMTV last week Sunday, and I heard Jagariza speak about that, how I think the New Zealand government was funding music artists. That would be really good here. Maybe they should maybe roll out some programs to help disadvantaged youths and all that, who are gifted in arts and all. That would be really nice to get everyone to get together, bring out their talents, and just showcase it, make some money out of it by doing something you love. Because, you know, if you make a living out of doing something you love, it's just like the best job on earth. So
Art can also help address social issues affecting a society. Recently, the US Embassy here in Port Moresby held a workshop and brought in an internationally recognized artist, Kendall Henry, to give artists a hand-on intensive introduction to the field of public art, outlining resources, logistics, and opportunities with examples of successful collaborations and community participation.
Using the term art loosely, art is anything that's created by an artist. That could be an object. People typically know painting, sculpture, but the idea and the approach is also an art object by an artist. So some of the ideas, and I was speaking to someone else, it's like, well, what do you mean by economic development? How's that going to help me? And so if that is the goal, that is what we're going to work towards. If your goal is, I want to make a statement or do an artwork that makes me make money, that's a valid goal. That's economic development. So as we create the work, we figure out how is this going to bring in the funds? How is this going to, what part of that is going to help you, sustain it financially? So some of the, having the micro grant affords us to have startup costs and affords us to put in place something that will bring in some funds as well.
My name is Eru Bualten. My current business, which I'm doing, is EB Tailoring. My education ended in My education was in Salvation Army in Koki. I started grade 1 to grade 6, and I couldn't go anywhere. After finishing my grade 6, I decided to have a job at Koki Lukpoiwai tailoring shop, and I learned my sewing there. I was taught by Mr. Paul Luke and his wife Winnie Luke down in Koki. It was in 1970s, early 70s. So since I was there, I learned a lot of tailoring work. I started with junior, sort of packing, ironing and packing. And then I found myself on the mission to learn about sewing, which my boss was so pleased with me to teach me in sewing. So when I was sewing, I was so interested to do a lot, to learn more in everything that I was going through when I was working there. Anything apart from men's shirts and trousers, Zulu, and ladies' evening wear, graduations, and also wedding. I do a lot of wedding for ladies who are really interested to come forward to. Bias for the wedding dress, armhole. So I just cut it. Bias cuts, I have to put it under on the armhole of the wedding dress. did some outfit for Governor for East New Britain and member for Teleformin, their suits and their shirts. They open neck collar shirts and some long sleeve shirts. So they were the first people like in Parliament area that I went through. I'd like to make some Mary blouse, which I do a lot of Mary blouse, lap skirts, and dresses and skirts, which people want me to take the orders, get the orders, and so they. Is a vest for ICA uniforms. They wanted vests, so I made them vest. This is the vest, and this is the long sleeve shirts. So I did this for Institute of Christian Academy. It was an independence color competition. So we decided to go into the competition where they gave us some forms to fill in. So I was one of the women who entered the competition.
And that's all we have for you tonight. For more business news, if you would simply like to view this episode again, visit MTV online at www.mtv.com.pg/business. Or to join the conversation, like our page on Facebook for daily business news, or follow us on Twitter at BusinessPNG using the hashtag BusinessPNG. Until next week, have a pleasant evening. I'm Leanne Jarari, and this is Business PNG.